the next one.
You know, Oz, people underestimate you, but not me. I've always known you were capable of more.
And this is how you set the tone for a great villain. I find it interesting that we have had two shows at the same time focusing on somewhat unknown characters who are villains, and I thought to myself, why is one so good at writing characters and the other is trash?
But Agatha is the gayest Marvel project yet. Do you agree?
It better be, because that's what I signed up for. I think it is.
It's a hot topic right now, female characters in movies, shows and games, and this would be a great opportunity to talk about both characters from each show who are currently female villains. A perfect example of good writing on one side and bad writing on the other. Firstly, let's talk about Agatha Harkness. In the comics, she is introduced to the readers as taking on the role of nanny to Franklin Richards. She has been a minor character in Marvel Comics. I mean, I'm sure most people had no idea or didn't have much care of seeing Agatha in WandaVision. She didn't do much in the comics, which can be expected of an unhurt character, though the writers struggled as to what to do with her, having killed her off more than once. In the MCU, she is seen as a villain, even though some people debate this, yet it's pretty obvious when watching scenes like this, where she's literally torturing Wanda's children. In Agatha All Along, it's even more obvious, as she wants her power back and jumps on the opportunity to get it via the Witch's Road. The show tells the audience of how she is still obviously a villain, such as having eaten babies or trying to kill the other witches to steal their power. She is basically out for herself. The problem is that she's a joke of a villain.
I'm Sharon Davis.
She's Agatha.
What?
There is not a single audience member who is watching this and feels threatened. The show does not give the audience any reason to care for Agatha. She essentially wants her powers back to simply go back to murdering. And that's it. There's no depth. What is a grand scheme in the MCU? Nobody knows or cares. Also, Agatha surrounds herself with characters who are inconsistent, delusional, and detached from reality, which makes Agatha also dumb. For instance, why is Billy so friendly with her after she was hurting him in WandaVision? Why does no one react back to Agatha when they know her ability can kill people? Instead, they just stick through with her and make jokes. This makes no sense. To give a proper example of this, let's analyze the scene in episode 5 where Agatha kills Alice. Firstly, I have to say, this scene is horribly shot and edited, which takes the viewer out of the immersion. Look at where Agatha isn't even holding the hand of the ghost or even connected to her, so what's her arm doing? And then, when Alice uses her powers, which for some reason she didn't do at all for the Salem 7, Lilia walks forward and says no, but the audio is muted. Then, it cuts to her walking forward saying something entirely different. After this, the clip is played backwards, and then the same clip is played again with the audio being back. Agatha herself is choosing to take Alice's powers, while everyone else stands around doing nothing, even though they could tackle her to the ground or smack her with an object.
Stop! Make her stop!
Agatha stops when she hears her son's name, which only when the finale arrives do we realise she somewhat cares for him. However, this care doesn't justify murder for her desire for power. We see her clearly killing these people, yet no meaningful consequence happens. All it shows to the audience is that Agatha will step over you for power. It also shows she is uninteresting as a villain because she has no one else to play off of, no one to outwit or manipulate, thus making her dull. In the next scene, she is confronted by Billy, who is shocked she killed someone, which is beyond stupid writing. She tries to lie and say she couldn't control it, which is utterly confusing as we see her physically lift her arms to kill Alice. She then completely switches up her acting to show that she is in fact evil.
Are you sure? You're so much like your mother.
Why should anyone care about Agatha? This is what the show fails to convey. Agatha is uninteresting and not threatening at all as a villain. She doesn't display any notion of being smart, manipulative, menacing, and take on other powerful smart villains. Instead, her and other characters act all dumb as they are inconsistent with reactions to the events in this show and prior. She doesn't do anything to prove she is a great villain and is going to be a threat in the larger part of the MCU. Her main motivation has been she wants power, We even see her past of killing others and telling her son to bait humans to her so she can suck their souls, and then over generations scamming witches to kill them. The only thing she cares about is Nicholas, and then for some reason Billy, which again makes no sense. She doesn't have any large in-depth growth as a character to show that she has changed and to gain the trust of others, when she has murdered so many and enjoyed it for generations. She could switch up at any minute. I do have to mention Marvel has always had a big problem when writing villains. Also, she doesn't have multiple layers to her or well-written vulnerability, so how can anyone be interested in her when she's got barely any character and is unlikable, and doesn't have much of an impact in the MCU, which already is a barren wasteland of characters? This is completely the opposite to Sofia Falcone. Similar to Agatha in the comics, she is a minor character, though to the opposite side, the show manages to depict her in a way that the audience wants to see more of her. One important distinction between the two is that Sofia is not the main character in The Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot is, but we are shown enough from her perspective that it's clear she plays a big role in this show as a villain. When we first see Sofia, it's in our face right away that this is a person who holds authority, is dangerous and unhinged, the sense that she could snap at any moment but is trying to control everything inside of her. Let's take a look at one of her early scenes, eating lunch with Oswald. She's not conforming to societal norms of eating in public. She dives into her food and doesn't care what other people think, which shows even more she is unhinged. Even Oswald gives a slight laugh of being uncomfortable by this behaviour, but also showing us he is worried as he looks down as she holds the authority and more power between the two of them. One thing I really like about this show is that unlike Agatha All Along, the people here are actually people. They react to other characters normally. Sofia notices Oz is nervous and her facial expression changes, directly bringing this up with him and manipulating him, saying she doesn't blame him for the past, yet at the same time it reads as a threat, basically saying that underneath she still hates him and still hasn't forgotten his betrayal. Especially when she then directly confronts him with the event that kickstarts the entire show.
You know, it's so brazen that you either have to be blindingly stupid or wildly confident that he isn't coming back to reclaim it. So I'm going to ask you again. Do you know where my brother is?
She sounds cold and calculating, and we see Sofia almost in tears, as if her rage is about to burst because she already knows the answer, but wants to hear Oz's response, and she doesn't have enough evidence yet. Oz manages to catch her off guard, but as Sofia smiles and listens, she is 99% sure he is lying, but doesn't have anything to prove that she's right yet. And it's confirmed to us when she says,
No, Oz, you're right. I'm probably just being crazy.
This is great writing, as it shows how Sofia is smart, manipulative, dangerous, and has a skill to sniff out the truth even when others gaslight her. Whenever we see her on screen, it's frightening. We have no idea if she could just kill a person, and sometimes she does. She feels threatening as a villain, playing against other powerful villains, which shows how capable she is. The interesting thing is, I wouldn't want her killed off. Not soon at least, because she is such an intriguing and interesting character. The acting of Christine Milioti is amazing. I didn't even realize this is the same actress who starred in The Wolf of Wall Street. The show does an excellent job of giving depth to Sofia by portraying her vulnerability. In episode 4, we get her tragic backstory, seeing her mom dead, and knowing that her mom did not do this to herself, over time suspecting her father more and more, but is unable to accept it, knowing there would be huge consequences, thus gaslighting herself even when presented with clear evidence he has killed other girls. She is dealing with so much confusion, grief, suppressed anger, sadness, pain all around. When her father gets word of her seeing a reporter, he, alongside the other family members, brand her as mentally insane, and she is sent to Arkham as punishment. During this time, she gets electric shock therapy, is stripped naked and blasted with water, beaten by other inmates, is surrounded with the screams and cries of them at night, and then, in public, is seen as having killed those women and being known as the Hangman. This makes the audience feel so much for Sofia, a person who wanted to help women because she loved her mom and is now seen as a psycho killer of women. She grew up in an extremely dangerous family, so by the present time of The Penguin, we can understand her motivations and even vouch for her when she gets revenge on her family, We can see she won't stop at nothing until her brother's killer is found, because her brother was the only one who cared about her. It is good writing that makes sense. Moreover, this is building up the world of the Batman, as we watch villains grow and become more powerful that will have some influence on Gotham, and most likely impact the Batman too. Thus, Sofia plays an important role in this, alongside Oswald Cobblepot as the Penguin. Overall, it's clear to see that the Penguin has good writing and knows how to make a compelling female villain, compared to Agatha All Along, where the show and characters are boring, unappealing, and make no sense. Even in the larger world, what is the purpose of Agatha? Is she meant to fight Dr. Doom with She-Hulk and Scar and betray a hero? It's not exactly interesting. At least in The Penguin, it's building the world of the Batman, so that we know when the series ends, Batman will have to deal with a level of organized crime that is going to be super dangerous. At the end of the day, we can have well-written female characters, and that is what people love. Sofia is stealing the show alongside Oswald, and audiences love her, while people are bored of Agatha. It all depends on wanting to have good writers and creators, and the intentions of creating a show.